Today's Mercedes-Benz interview of the day brought to you by Mercedes-Benz Dream Days. Mercedes-Benz Dream Days are here. Exceptional offers on the CLE Coupe, E-Class Sedan, C-Class Sedan, CLE Cabriolet going on now through September 3rd. Learn more at mbusa.com/dream. Well, if you think our show is bad, wait till you get a load of this show. It's the Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Gatz, and you can see it right after our show on Peacock. Boy, is it good.
The early 20th.
Hey, and
Ethels?
Dan,
You're not going to come
Well,
up.
her name was actually
Dan Le Batard joins us now, I believe.
Yeah, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Are we still
JD?
making Ethels?
Dan.
Did we ever?
And put that on. Did we ever? Well, we did make Merman. We made Ethel Merman.
But she wasn't even an Ethel.
Dan, can
me-
you
Oh,
hear
she
me?
was. There was,
He was.
There was another one that was
Hold on,
Vivian.
hold
Hey,
on.
hey, Dan.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's Dan Patrick here.
Sorry we interrupted you. Professional as always, Dan.
Once again, I led in with the tagline, I think, for your show. If you think our show is bad, wait till you get a load of Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Gatz. What do you think?
What kind of intro is that? You're supposed to welcome me into the family.
I did until I couldn't get your attention. I was going to say nice things. And then
I've got a bad executive producer.
Okay. Join the club.
Oh,
We're a match made in heaven. We've got an announcement to make. Who's making it? You or me?
Well, I just did. I just said you're going to follow our. God, this is bad.
Yeah,
we actually
started off
planned,
bad.
Dan. We planned this, and it
Yeah,
sounds
we don't
this
plan
bad.
ours.
Emails.
Yeah, we don't plan ours.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah,
All
we
right.
don't plan.
Yeah,
ours.
Seaton, do you have a question?
Well, I was wondering with this big announcement, maybe we can change the name of our show to the Dan Patrick Show with Todd Fritz.
Oh,
Similar to the Dan Le Batard Show with Stu
Stu
Gatz.
Gatz.
We have Todd Fritz.
oh.
I genuinely missed the announcement. What is the announcement?
Our audience, look, our executive producer was asleep at the wheel and totally missed the announcement. Can you make it again, Dan, please?
If you think our show is bad, wait till you get a load of this show, the Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Gatz. It follows ours on Peacock.
Hold on.
Let's go.
Dan, we have a celebration. We've got a parade. We have a chorus. We have a marching band. We are ready. We are ready and to join Peacock with Dan Patrick. Let's go, people. Let's
Okay.
go.
Stu
We are-
Gatz
we are
has got it.
following Dan Patrick. Yes. Yes.
Okay, there. That's quite. Is there, Dan? Is there a robbery going on? That's what it looks like. It looks like somebody's breaking in to rob you.
There's a
Hey,
where are your wings, Peacock? There's not a there's,
okay. That is.
yes.
that is-
Can we fix the confetti cannons, please? That stuff's not working back there. Don't injure your coworkers with the confetti cannon. Thank you. Please be careful. There are liability issues there.
I remember my first time on Peacock.
For those who haven't seen it, how would you describe your show, Dan?
Lesser in every way to yours. I want to tell your audience that Dan Patrick is a hero of mine. I am really thrilled to be behind him in the lineup.
I will say that Paulie is a hero of mine. That was an unfair shot by Dan Patrick at Paulie. I mean, I'm sorry.
What was the shot? He said Todd Fritz was the name that he was going to put on the show. What was the shot at Paulie?
He said he had a bad executive producer as well. Paulie is the executive producer. Paulie is an exceptional. In fact, he is in my top 5 executive producers of all time.
Wow. Top five.
Wow. Really? Congratulations, Paulie.
And Fritzy is a top 5 guest booker of all time. How about that?
Well, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Dan, I'll take it. I'm going to tell the people, I think they know this. You've heard me say it to you before, and I've said it to your audience before. You led the way with producers talking on the air and going to a confessional box to talk in breaks. You pioneered leaving ESPN, doing a show in your attic, and showed me how hard and doable these things are. So I really am thrilled that our thing gets to exist behind yours. In support of yours at your back, sir.
Because of DP, we heard from Ethan today. I mean,
that's right. That is what happened today. Another producer grabbed a microphone who shouldn't, Dan. You've got a lot of control over your microphones. I do not have any control over my microphones.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the kind words. Once again, the Dan Le Batard Show And you can see it on Peacock, and it'll follow our show. All right. Can I ask you some sports questions, or do you want me to do? I mean, my career feels like it's slowing down, and maybe dropped a peg or two with this, but
I don't believe it has. I am here to bolster you. We heard you're going to retire in 4 years. You made a big announcement that you were going to. It's like saying I'm going to retire in 440 years.
You might speed that up. Dan.
You're giving. That's right. I'm trying to rush you out the door. By
why
saying,
don't no?
Look
You
what
know what,
happened to the
Dan?
industry.
Dan, you should announce your retirement today as well.
In 4 years. All right. You know what? I retire whenever Dan Patrick retires. We leave together. I'm announcing that as well today. Hey, everybody here, you've got the same amount of time to get out of the house that Dan's producers do.
December 24th, 2027. That's it. That's it. We're done.
All right, let's do it together.
All
I
right.
just announced that as well. Dan Patrick and I are retiring on the same day together.
Way to go. I think TP just locked you into working on Christmas Eve. I mean,
Okay. Here's a question for you. What would be bigger if the Dolphins had a really, really, really successful season, or the Miami Hurricanes? If you could pick.
I would say that the Dolphins have always been the biggest story in this town, and the University of Miami gave us a fun run after the Dolphins did. But generationally, what's been handed down has been bigger for the Dolphins. The Dolphins put this city on the map, sports-wise. Don Shula has an expressway named after him. University of Miami was more interesting because they were controversial, but the Dolphins were simply excellent historically. And this century, neither one of them has been any good, Dan. And so people in South Florida who love football and have had it handed down from their grandparents, they have not seen, this generation has not seen a Dolphin team really matter. And they got so much hope that the one of the last 2 years that also hasn't mattered because it hasn't won a playoff game felt and sounded and looked like it mattered simply because they got an offense. So people here are starved for football, and that's been the franchise that always mattered. The Heat took this city away from them. If the Dolphins win, they'll take it back.
But you have a generation that didn't experience the U winning either. So you have generations with both of these teams that haven't seen, what the peak success story was for both of them.
You're right, and I would just say pro football trumps college football this isn't a college town. This was first a professional football town in sport.
You thought sports fans were mad when there was a playoff game exclusively behind Peacock. Now, imagine the Dan
Wow.
Batard show with Stu Gatz not exclusively behind Peacock. Yeah.
I should also announce we're going to be on Sirius XM channel 85 as part of this too. We're going to be, it's a dual.
wow, back on the radio.
It's a dual announcement. That's right. Stugatz is back on the radio. Dan Patrick still dominates that. I will tell the audience, and forgive me, Dan, if I derail sports talk, but honest to God, you showed us the way. Like, there was a time in your career where you thought you couldn't do a radio show. And now you've got one of maybe 5 or 10 monsters that exist in sports in the United States.
Well, thank you.
But it's true, right? Right? Am I wrong?
Yeah. I had a lot of people who helped along the way, but it was mostly me, of course. But I'm just saying, as you always take credit for all the things that you do on your show whenever I talk to you, it's like, God, did they get in the way of my greatness? And I'm like, yeah. I know the problem there, Dan. Finish this statement. The mission statement of the Dan Le Batard Show is...
Wow. Okay. This one's going to be hard. To try and be different in a environment that ought to be fun and sometimes isn't, because we spend a whole lot of time, criticizing, blaming, and also we talk about Trump some.
But you guys do some blaming, and you have some serious topics there, don't you?
Yeah, but I try not to be too terribly judgmental. Look, one of the many things I admire about you is that as shrill as all of this has gotten in the center of it, you are a pillar of professionalism. And when you scorch someone, it matters because you're not doing it every day. You're not doing it to get aggregated. When you scorch someone, it means that someone distinguished is hitting someone hard, and you don't spend a lot of time there either. Like our show, our show often isn't cruel about human beings, and we also feature Stugatz.
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
Mhm. Just what I need. Another Dan in my life.
Well, all I know is it's one of the more interesting car rides that I've ever had in my life, though, with you, Stugatz. When I left Dan's wedding and you volunteered to take me back to my hotel.
Right.
How many things did he ask you for?
That's what you do for a friend.
How many numbers in your phone did he ask you for? How many famous people? How many things did he ask you for?
Well, Stugatz, can
All
I
of
say,
them?
I don't want to. Okay, he asked for a job if he ever left. Would I be interested in hiring him?
I did. Yeah. Let it fly, Dan. It's okay.
Okay. He asked me how much money he should be making. He talked about his daughters playing lacrosse.
Yeah,
he wanted to know what I thought about his BMW, and he wanted to know if he could come in and have a drink. Not in that order. Not in that order.
How much money should he be making?
Not as much as he said, but a little more than he was getting paid. Let's put it that way. I should get 10% of that, Stu, guys.
You got it.
Okay. I got to resume my regularly scheduled program here, Dan.
Good seeing you, buddy. I love you, and I'm thrilled. I really am thrilled that we're teaming up for the last 400 years of your career when you eventually retire.
How about a fake round of applause for the Dan Lebitard show? Yeah, we did it. Okay. All right. Thank you, Dan. The Dan Lebitard show with Stu Gatz.